Today I'm going to talk about the stories in the Bible, and more specifically, the parables of the Bible. Growing up, I heard lots about all the stories from the Bible. You have the big ones like David and Goliath, Jonah and the whale, and many more. But I kind of came across this special love for the parables as I started learning about them. Jesus used these parables as a tangible way for him to teach us certain lessons, or for him to expand upon different values of faith. For me, my personal favorite of these parables has always been the parable of the mustard seed. The parable of the mustard seed talks about how a mustard seed can grow up into this big tree. It specifically talks about how the kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed. Now, growing up, obviously just being young and hearing this story, I just took that kind of phrase, kingdom of heaven, at face value. But as I got to learn about these things, it came to be that I want to delve deeper into the different meanings of certain things, and especially that one phrase, the kingdom of heaven, because it never really sat right with me on the rest of the story. You see, the story goes on with how the mustard seed grows into this great big tree, and you have different birds coming and other animals flocking under it. And I guess you could view the kingdom of heaven being like that, but why would the kingdom of heaven start as a mustard seed? And that's where Jesus' teachings on faith come in, and an important part on translations. You see, the Bible, and specifically the version of the Bible that we have our English translations from, is from Greek, Aramaic, and Hebrew. When you translate certain words over, they don't always work properly, and that can be seen very often in many other different cultures when they try to translate certain words into English. Specifically, this phrase, kingdom of heaven, is what we use to be the closest we can get to that meaning that was written in the original text. Faith might not be the perfect word for what Jesus was going after, but in my opinion, faith is the best way to explain it. You see, for us, faith, as Jesus is explaining, can start as a mustard seed. Really small, we might not know anything about what's going on, but as it grows, it gets bigger and bigger and becomes one of the largest trees. This large tree gives space for other animals to come. Birds, bees for flowers, many other creatures, right? And so you have these other animals coming because of faith. So this is God's and Jesus' explanation for this, using the phrase kingdom of heaven. You have all these animals coming to you as you grow in faith, just like as we're called in the Bible to show our faith to other people. So this shows us how God wants us to grow deeper in faith. There's many other parables that kind of explain how faith works. Another specific one being the parable of the sower, where the sower went and he threw his seeds not really in one specific location, but in many other areas. Threw them on the road, threw them in the craggy rock, and threw some in good soil. And they all grew differently. And this is, again, based around our faith and how God calls us to grow. The Bible, to me, is something that's very important and very applicable to life. But some people explain it in different ways. Some people might say how the Bible is just, a set of rules for us to live by. Others say that it's just a set of fables. Like those stories I talked about in the beginning of David and Goliath, of Jonah and the whale. You might think, how could those be true? But for me, I think the Bible really shows us how we can grow deeper in faith and more closely to our Creator. And that's why I love it so much. Thank you.